RZR sure has come a long way since its humble beginnings back in 2008 with an 800cc motor and a 50-inch wide chassis. And to say that we wouldn't have ever expected it to be where it is today would be the understatement of a lifetime. The basic layout of this 2020 Pro XP Ultimate is the mic drop of the 64-inch wide category. Seriously, this thing is feature-packed, handling-packed, fun-packed, and you know it's power-packed. And when we say power, we're talking 181 horsepower right from the dealer. It's a handful, but not in the way that you might think. What I mean is somehow Polaris over the years, through variations and testing and more testing, and then weekend testing, have found a way to build this insane power into a chassis that's crazy aggressive, giggle-inducing, and yet still very controllable and confidence-inspiring. And let me stop for a sec, because we here at DirtTrax use that term quite a lot, confidence-inspiring, and I want to be totally clear about exactly what I mean. To me, confidence-inspiring is a tough thing to make tangible. It's that harmonious balance between out of control and grab more throttle, the difference between hit the brakes or just hit it. It's that feeling that you don't get of, uh-oh, am I going too fast, or should I really be doing this? Confidence-inspiring isn't a term that we use lightly. Because the truth is, to be, you must have a product that we so completely believe in that it actually makes us feel more in control, feel more confident, and push the limits further, all without making us feel like we shouldn't have done it. And the 2020 RZR Pro XP Ultimate has this characteristic. It's got a lot of it. And when I get behind the steering wheel and close the door, it makes me feel like I can conquer any trail, any jump, or anything that the wild outdoors can throw at me. If you break it down to its most basic element, this is where you'll find the real reason for this confidence. No, it's not the engine, it's not the suspension, it's not the interior, and it's not all the fancy gauges and lights. At its core, it's the chassis, and the way that chassis interacts with all those things that I just mentioned. Because from all the years of doing this job, I've learned a few things. Suspension only makes up for so much, and horsepower is only as good as the chassis you put it in. Chassis dynamics and the drivability of the RZR come from years of building RZRs, real-world durability testing, and also listening to feedback from consumers and racers alike. And when you have that flat-flying, turn-in-loving, power-sliding, precise chassis geometry and design, you can link up the DYNAMIX 2.0 active suspension and be certain that you're going to get precise feedback from the terrain, instantaneous compression changes on all four corners, and the ability to change settings on the fly from the steering wheel. It's up to 22 inches of wheel travel and heads-up feedback on what your suspension is doing real-time on a 7-inch display. Back to the chassis. When you have the suspension dialed like Polaris does with the DYNAMIX 2.0, you're going to need a big dose of horsepower. And up till now, it's been pretty good, but this is better. With emphasis on the 20 to 50 mile per hour range, Polaris has tuned this 181 horsepower turbocharged 925cc dual overhead cam sub 1 liter to perform best in this target range. And let me tell you, the 0 to 20 and 50 and above ain't bad either. In fact, I think from a standstill, this may be the most hard-hitting stock side-by-side on the market. The way the drive-by-wire system interacts with the throttle body is seamless. No lag, no stumbles, just precise throttle response. And when you get into the meat of the mill and the tire speed increases, it seems like it may never stop. You can go from a rolling 20 miles per hour to well over 60 in just a matter of seconds. Speaking of how it's doing it, you may be asking, yeah, okay, so it's fast, but will it hold together? And I'm glad that you asked, because yes, it will. Polaris claims the CVT system runs so cool now that the belt will last twice as long as previous version turbos. They also beefed up the chassis, well, everywhere, and when utilizing the one-piece chassis design, it's built to be beat on. And while the chassis and suspension and engine are great, the driveline has seen some significant upgrades over previous version RZRs as well. The tranny is 39% stronger, the front driveline is 300% stronger, and the axles, yeah, they're 800% stronger. I'd say it's built like a tank, but that infers heavy and slow, and this is neither, but you catch my drift. This thing is the ultimate in strength. Now, the Pro XP Ultimate badge does come at a cost, but if you're at a dealership looking for a Pro XP, the upcharge isn't going to shock you all that much. And let me tell you, it's worth it 10 times out of 10, both for fun factor as well as resale. The Ultimate package gets you quite a bit over the premium package. The DYNAMIX suspension with Fox shocks, the 7-inch display, and the sweet Rockford Fosgate sound system integrated into the dash and display just like a pickup truck. Now you're going to pay about $5,000 Canadian or $3,500 American to go from premium to Ultimate, or about $7,000 Canadian and $5,000 US over the base Pro XP. That's a lot of coin, but it's a pay-to-play market, and this thing means fun, serious fun. But I can't for the life of me imagine why at this price point Polaris didn't include a roof. I mean, come on people, even just a throwaway poly roof would have not only made this thing look even better, it's just a basic staple for side-by-sides and I think a requirement at this level, especially this price point. Add to that a really strangely located stereo antenna that I'm pretty certain we'll be seeing a lot of warranty claims stating it just broke off, and you've got a couple of oversights. Okay, so I'm searching pretty hard for things to pick on, but that's because this vehicle is so incredible. And I always take the time to stop and think, is this a vehicle that I could have in my garage? And when it comes to the 2020 Pro XP Ultimate, absolutely. This is a ride I'd buy for me. If you enjoyed this segment, make sure you hit that like button and definitely consider leaving us some comments. We always appreciate hearing from our fans. Also, make sure you're subscribed because we have tons of new content coming up right here on Dirt Trax.